What up? It's the Grandpa MC coming at you with another video. Like, subscribe, share, and comment. What's going on? What you think about them playoff games, man? Right now, the Lakers and the referees are holding Minnesota off. It is what it is with that. But man, I'm gonna try to keep myself composed here because nothing against doing that, because I can. But I'm not gonna rant and rave, because I'm gonna try to this subject, it touched me a little bit when it came up today. All right, so let me before I go into that. All right, so mind the game. This ain't nothing but a treasure trove of information, because the more he talks, the more he reveals himself. But I mean, again, still people that support him are still gonna look past him. But this guy is the worst teammate of all time. And before I go into what he said, I'm gonna say this. Before the Bulls, when you describe championship teams, although Larry Bird and Magic were the top guys on their team, and even the Detroit Pistons, even more with the Detroit Pistons, because they talked about Isaiah Thomas, but it was that whole team. Nobody got talked. Joe Dumars, and this is falling under what LeBron said. In the mind of LeBron, Joe Dumars was a role player. Now get that now. Dennis Rodman was a role player. Vinnie Johnson was a role player. Who was that? John Sally was a role player. Now, when the Bulls became prominent, they started putting Jordan. Everything was about Jordan. Even though their team was every part was essential. Scottie Pippen had a central part on the team. John Paxson, Bill Cartwright. Bill Cartwright's role, if you want to use that, was to lay people out. Lay them out. That was his role. But people have like short attention spans, so I can kind of understand. But ESPN used to run these specials. It was what was it called? It was You Can't Blame, right? Then they had another short one. It was like a Sports Century one, but it was talking about the breaking up of the Bulls. And it was a reporter that said that at the end of their three-peat, the second one, that they went to, I don't think he was anonymous, but they didn't say the name. I think it might have been anonymous. Anyway, they were saying that, the sad part about this team is that everybody's going to be just talking about Michael Jordan, and that's it. Now, they couldn't control how they were covered. And that was like, that is the root of Scottie Pippen's crash outs these last couple of years, because Scottie Pippen was just as important as Michael Jordan, regardless of what anybody else says. If you watch the Bulls, Scottie Pippen, by the second three-peat, the second championship out of the 6, the second one, he had become just as important as Jordan. Now, you got to understand, Scottie Pippen's job on the team was to play defense, set up the offense, and help defense. It was he had to guard his man, and he was help defending on other players, depending on the team. So I just had to get that off. Okay, so LeBron says role players can cost you a game. If you didn't hear that, I'll repeat it. He said role players can cost you the game. Now, I was going to look at this episode. I just saw a cut up of it. And I know things can be taken out of context, but I don't think that can be taken out of context. He said that, like, matter of factly. He was saying a role player can cost you the game. And then Steve Nash. Man, Steve Nash knows better than anybody what players around him can do for a player. If it wasn't for role players, Steve Nash's MVP years wouldn't have been about nothing. If he wasn't. Now, he could score. But he wasn't like an explosive scorer like that. He scored in transition, jump shots, movement of the ball. That's how Steve Nash scored. If he didn't score like that, correct me, please. But that whole team was built up of so-called role players. Now, Amari Stoudemire was a budding star, but the rest of that team was role players. Like, they used to always switch out. Like, they had Ori for a little while. Then they moved to somebody else. I think that's around time of Amari. I'm trying to focus on this subject, on the subject, man. Because it's crazy how the disregard this guy has for players on his team. And if it wouldn't be for these guys that he calls role players, he wouldn't even be where he's at now. And he's according to his record in the playoffs and finals, he's a loser. Now, his playoffs different. I'm talking about finals. His final record is not a winning record. It's far from it. So, apparently the role players he had weren't enough, which it wasn't, because he done had more trades than anybody in the NBA. He's been associated with so many trades in the NBA. Ain't nobody gonna catch him, just like the points. But the ironic thing about that is, for all intents and if you really look at his game, he's a role player. He is a role player. He needs more. And please let me know. Like, if you need more help, that's like if you want to use Scottie Pippen, cool. So everybody said Scottie Pippen couldn't win without Jordan, right? So that makes him a role player, right? What they say about LeBron all the time. LeBron-led teams. It's a yearly conversation about who he needs, what's good for him, this, that, and other. They didn't have to do all that for Jordan. They didn't have to do all that for Magic. That, like, you can't sit up and get mad over a team maneuvering smartly to draft as many good players as they can. And that's what Boston did. That's what the Lakers did. That's just the way it was. Just because Jerry West was working deals so he could draft James Worthy and pick up Michael Thompson and this, that, and other moves like that. Move with Bill Walton. Went on the 86 Celtics. Teams have always maneuvered to gain a leg up on in the championship race. Every team ain't trying to win the championship. Every team ain't trying to win the championships. It's only like maybe 4 or 5 in a season. Maybe 4 or 5. And I might be over counting that. I know it's at least 2. But it's at least, I think, in my mind, organizations that are legitimately trying to go and win the championship. So, but all the stuff that goes on with LeBron-led teams, it's ridiculous. How can you have any kind of bond with a teammate that will send you packing soon as you fall out of whatever role he thinks in his mind you should have? And he decreases players. He doesn't accentuate. He de-emphasizes your attributes. So then you standing over there in the corner while he playing, let me get past this guy. Let me try to get past this guy, because he really can't do that no more like that. And, just because you can't hit a 3 going down, you can't hit a 3 with the shot clock going down to 3-2-1 when he gives you the ball, you can't fit the role that he thinks that you should have. If he played a real unselfish type game, his teams would win, because a lot of times his team is the more talented team. But this is ridiculous, man. Like, this dude he's been delusional for a lot of years now. I want to say since 2017, LeBron hadn't been really all there as far as being more obsessed with trying to being the greatest. That I'll just say that much. I can say that even, but we'll just say with his obsession of being the greatest, it's been like that since 2017. So I'm sorry you didn't perform the way you should have, but Miami Heat, you was a role player. You didn't play your role. Every role player that you, in your mind, they did their job. You didn't do yours. And before I close, it was because of role players that first finals you went to was so close. Now they got swept, but those were some close games. Those role players were holding Tim Duncan, and I don't think Tim Duncan in the history of his playoff career was stifled as much as he was when they were playing Cleveland. I remember watching it, and I was like, dang, they really holding Tim Duncan down. So Shaq started all that stuff, talking about the others and stuff. I could keep going on, man. I could really talk about this. I ain't going to, because I don't have no visual aids. A lot of y'all done switched away. It's all good, but I just had to get this one off, man. So, Grandpa MC signing off.